Welcome to our OnAir webinar and why you should certify with the Google Cloud program. Thanks for joining us. On today's agenda, you have a great lineup of speakers and knowledge keepers on the topic of Google Cloud certifications. Firstly, you'll hear from me, Anna Baird. I'm the Global Lead for Business and Services Training, and why you should certify with Google Cloud's program, well, that's something I can talk about. Secondly, I'll invite Carl Tanner, the EMEA Training Business Manager, to help us unpack all the possible certifications at your fingertips and what to know about them. Then, Carl will take you through how to train and prepare for your exams, and all the helpful tips and tricks for studying and ultimately getting your certification. We have Rich Rose, one of our fantastic curriculum training lab architects, who will guide you through a smooth and informative quick lab demo to ensure you can be hands-on in your training and preparation journey. Finally, I will come back and interview Priya Saxena, one of our most sought-after strategic cloud engineers, to help us realize the certification journey. Priya is going to offer you tips and share her experiences on training and preparation to really help you walk the talk. And after all this content, we will invite Carl Tanner back to share certification's best and most special offer, and by the way, a challenge as well. And you won't want to miss that. So stay with me on today's OnAir event agenda. Let's get right into it, shall we? When I speak at conferences, I always get asked, but why certify with Google Cloud's program? Let me tell you, there are many reasons. We've all seen the boom of the gig economy, a different way of working, and ultimately a different landscape for our career paths and jobs. This is true, but especially in the cloud space. And in today's ever-changing career and jobs marketplace, people are looking for ways to brand themselves as subject matter experts, as leaders, and as knowledge keepers. Especially in a time when credibility and tested skills are key differentiators for employers and employees, certifications are one of the ways that job seekers can make sure they have an edge. So why certification on Google Cloud's platform, you may ask? Simply put, certification is essential in today's marketplace to validate your mastery, your competency of the technologies, and this is critical to your success. For individuals, certification provides a number of things. Firstly, credibility, a testament to your skills and proficiency in GCP. The fact that your profile can show a badge that supports the way you position your skills is key to having a transparent and credible CV or resume. Industry recognition. In an industry that is changing at lightning speed, there is a huge benefit to having a formal recognition for professionals who meet established knowledge, skills, and competencies. Career advancement. New, different, and better opportunities will come your way, and your certifications will often give you a competitive advantage over somebody who's not certified. And of course, personal and professional development. For any of us, we're keen to challenge ourselves, set goals, and achieve them. Some of our search is to master our craft. Some of us seek out ways to expand the depth and breadth of our different arenas. Certifications ensure that you are on top of your industry, on top of the technology developments, and that your skills are at the most up to date. In a recent survey of Google Cloud's certified professionals conducted by an independent third party, we heard some incredible pieces of feedback from the market on how Google Cloud certifications have enabled and boosted skills for so many different roles in the cloud industry. Here are just a few stats that help me share the stories that we heard in this survey, but In true Google format, we've gone at it with a data-driven storytelling mentality. 79% of respondents said words like confidence, presence, professionalism, and recognition when talking about their future opportunities after certifying with one of Google Cloud's certifications. 84% of respondents felt proud to have a proof point about their skills and abilities when working with recruiters and placement consultants. 86% of respondents told us they felt more marketable, more attractive to companies, and overall, much more confident in their abilities to stand out from others applying for similar roles. And finally, 87% of respondents just had a boost of confidence. They needed this confidence, and it helped them get out there and chase the opportunities they desired. So just to recap, certifications for Google Cloud allow you to really stand out in the job market, and especially in the cloud environment that is ever expanding. Want to expand the scope of the people you work with, learn from, and even teach? The Google Cloud certification community is a fantastic way to meet others in the same career, but also on the same journey as you. And finally, Google Cloud certified professionals have access to some great Google Cloud swag. And so now we've just covered why certifications on the Google Cloud platform will inform some great opportunities for your career. And hopefully, I've convinced you to explore them. And now we have Carl Tanner, who's the EMEA Business Training Manager, joining me to tell you more about our different certifications. Thanks for being here, Carl.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Well, should we get started with the first certification, which is typically our entry-level certification? And this starts professionals off to become a Google Cloud Certified Associate Cloud Engineer. This is a great step into having some practical experience in the field, and I think we recommend about 6 months of hands-on GCP experience. And combining those two things, you get both theory and practical examples, as well as to be able to go deeper into data development, networking, and security. And so that's our entry-level certification, Carl. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the other certifications we have available on the Google Cloud Platform program?
Yeah, would love to. So, whereas our Associate Cloud Engineer, you need that 6 months experience as you outlined. For our professional level certifications, you're looking for somebody that's got at least 12 months experience of working with the GCP platform and typically 3 years industry experience. We have a range of professional level certifications. Our Professional Cloud Architect or Cloud Engineer certification is the one that's been recognized in a recent salary survey by Global Knowledge as the highest paying certification in the industry. So that's the one that's getting a lot of traction.
Great.
But beyond that, we have the Data Engineer, Cloud Developer, Network Engineer, and the Security Engineer as being our latest and newest certification.
Fantastic. So quite a few options there for certification,
Absolutely.
It sounds like. Maybe we dive deeper into a bit of the scope of what these certifications can offer those who are listening in today and wondering whether they should certify. So from a cloud engineer, an associate cloud engineer perspective, you should be able to be involved in and advise your customers on how they can take the right approaches and techniques for building, deploying, and managing a cloud environment. And when done properly and with the right guidance, I believe, you can be the difference maker with your certification on how your customers launch into this cloud journey. And you can be the source of truth and wisdom on how Google Cloud can help your customers advance their business, transform their business, and ultimately, you can serve your customers and clients differently, perhaps than others. And so that's sort of our view on the Associate Cloud Engineer. Maybe you could unpack a little bit more about the other professional certifications you mentioned, Carl.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of beyond that build, deploy, and manage, for our professional level certifications, you really need to understand more of the business context. So being able to understand how you design, build, ensure that kind of feasibility and optimization is some of the key criteria in order to be successful in a professional level certification.
Great, and that makes sense. And so building on those, I think what viewers are probably now wondering is, in what languages can we take these certifications? And so with the Associate Cloud Engineer Certification Program, it can be done in English, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese, so quite an extensive list. Can you just go through very quickly for the other certifications, Carl?
Absolutely. So beyond English, our most popular professional level certifications, being the Cloud Architect and Data Engineer, are available in Spanish and Portuguese, and we will be looking to localize in other languages and other certifications as the demand grows.
Fantastic, and we hope it does after today's conversation.
Absolutely. Hello everyone, my name's Carl Tanner. I'm the EMEA Training Manager for Google Cloud, and I've worked for Google for coming up 2 years. In this section, I'm going to take you through kind of what is that journey to getting GCP certified. So when we look at our training resources, GCP have got a blend of modalities, so really something for each individual learner style. When we look at our hands-on labs platform, this was an organization that we acquired nearly 3 years ago called Quick Labs. These labs will be familiar with you if you've ever attended any of our on-demand or instructor-led training. But beyond the labs that are embedded into those titles, there are more than 400 GCP lab titles available to you, and we have bundled these together into what we call quests. You should think of a quest as a learning path that will help guide you through a particular part of the learning that you need to acquire. When we look at our on-demand training, you'll be probably familiar with Coursera. We've been partnering with Coursera really since the inception of the GCP Learning organization, but have recently introduced a new on-demand partner called Pluralsight. All of the content that's available on both of these partners is authored by Google Cloud and delivered by GCP instructors. And there are more than 8 specializations and more than 40 courses that are available on each of these platforms. When we look at instructor-led training, this is really for those individuals that need to be in a smaller, more intimate environment and learning from a live instructor. We have more than 4 learning paths available that are delivered by a network of ATPs, so authorized training partners, of which there are more than 55 across the globe, and they deliver the 14 courses that currently sit within our portfolio. In the next section, we're going to see a short video from Priyanka before Rich gives you more of an in-depth demo on Quick Labs.
Want to start learning how to use Google Cloud using the real thing at little or no cost? Let me show you how using Quick Labs. Quick Labs is an online, interactive learning environment where you can get practical, hands-on experience with Google Cloud without having to sign up for a GCP account, but still access the full, real Google Cloud platform at no additional cost. Learn using live, real-world, scenario-based use cases on the real Google Cloud platform, not with a demo or simulation. Start with the essentials or get deep into specific subjects on over 400 labs like machine learning, security, Kubernetes, app development, building a chatbot, and more. Make learning fun by earning badges or competing in lab challenges to show off your accomplishments. Visit google.quicklabs.com to get started.
Hello, my name is Richard Rose and I'm a lab architect at Google Cloud. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Quick Labs and showing you a demo about Cloud IAM. Right, let's begin the demo. Welcome to Quick Labs. This exercise is a quick introduction to Cloud Identity and Access Management, also known as IAM. This lab will show you how to use IAM on Google Cloud Platform. The lab will demonstrate how to perform simple tasks, such as allocating permissions, and the effect of removing permissions from a user account. The first action that we're going to take is to open up IAM on GCP. As you can see on the screen, you can see all the roles associated with the project. The first thing we're going to do is identify the users set up for the account. And as you can see, under the roles column, there are a number of permissions applied to the accounts. As you can see, for the main account, we have editor and owner, which means this particular account is the administrator. Also notice at the top of the screen, the add and remove button are enabled. If you select the add button, you can actually add additional permissions to the account. So here we have browser, editor, owner, and viewer. Okay, so that's an overview of username 1. Username 2 is set up as a viewer account. So in order to view the information for this, we're going to need to switch to the next tab to see their permissions. Now we're under username 2 account. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to look at the IAM settings. And as you have previously seen, the information is entirely the same. So we have the viewer, editor, owner, role permissions applicable. One thing to note at the top of the screen, because this account is a viewer account, the add and remove buttons are disabled. So in this section, we're going to create a storage bucket and apply some new permissions to see the result. If you've not done so already, switch back to username 1. And this time we're going to go to the storage option and select the create bucket option. Now, one thing to note when creating a storage bucket is the name needs to be globally unique. So a simple trick to remember is to prefix the project ID to the name of the bucket. Now that the bucket is created, the next thing we need to do is upload a file. So select a file from your local machine. The lab exercise is expecting the name of the file to be sample.txt. So let's quickly rename that file. Also note that there is a command line version that can be run as well, which will give you the same result. Okay. Now we have our sample file and our bucket created. Let's switch to user 2 to ensure that the information is still accessible. So now we're in user account 2. We're going to go to storage. Ensure that the storage bucket is available, and it is. And just check that our sample.txt file is there, and it is. In this section, we will amend the permissions for user 2. So please switch back to username 1. And going back to the IAM section, we're going to go to find our username. And there's the viewer account. So edit that, and this time we're going to delete that account and save the contents. You'll notice that the policy will be updated at the bottom of the screen. And as part of that policy update, it will synchronize across the project. So any access to that information will have disappeared. So you can see that there is only now one user account in that project. In the username2 account, we can see that the permissions have been removed, and therefore we no longer have browser access to the storage object. And if we go to the main homepage, we can see that the data is now unavailable across all resources and services within GCP. This is because the permissions have been removed for that account. And that means that this particular user cannot access any services within this GCP project. In this section, we will now assign storage permissions to user 2. So if you've not done so already, switch back to the first user, i.e. the administrator. Here we're going to add in the second user's ID into IAM. And now we're going to select a role. So the role we want to assign here is under storage, and we want to give it a viewer account, so storage object viewer. The application of this will mean that the user will now be able to access the storage bucket. So there we can see that this user has been added back into the list. There are now 2 users again on the project, and it has been given storage object viewer permissions. Now that the lab has been successfully completed, we can review the lab objectives. Our first task, we were asked to upload a sample file. So in the main Quick Labs page, we can run the check to ensure that this has been done. Then we remove the permissions for username 2 for the viewer account. Finally, we added storage object viewer permissions to the username 2 account. Congratulations, you have now completed the Quick Labs course on Cloud IAM Quick Start. We hope you found this helpful and continue the journey with Quick Labs.
So by now you've heard from us about all the value of a certification, how Google Cloud certifications can help you, what's available today, and lots of our learning and resources. Plus, we gave you a short demo on Quick Labs so that we could give you some tips and tricks on preparing to take your exam. I'm delighted to have Priya Saxena with us today. Thank you for joining.
My pleasure.
Priya is a strategic cloud engineer here at Google, and I told you a little bit about her and her last month where she passed her Professional Cloud Architect exam. So I'm going to ask her a few questions. I'm going to ask her to share her experience and a few tips and tricks she can pass on. But before I do that, Priya, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a mom of a 6-year-old boy, so it's quite a job at home.
I can imagine.
And here at Google, I joined 4 months back, and prior to that, I worked in 5 different industries, and I have 5 patents on my name, luckily. So this time here, I'm a cloud architect. So yeah, that's it.
Great. We're going to explore a little bit about you and that certification today. Sure. So first question, tell us a bit about what motivated you to prepare and, of course, take the Professional Cloud Architect certification.
Okay. So this certification is, as you all know, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. So my motivation came from there because I've been working, most of my career, I've been working on applications and infrastructure. So I was always keen to see what this other team does on databases side, say for example. So this certification, when I went through the curriculum, I found this as a perfect opportunity for me to, ramp up my secondary skills. So this certification, the beauty of it is, it's spread across to give you a broader view of everything in the GCP stack. Okay. Instead of when we work every single day, I work on my bit of it, infrastructure, app dev. I don't really know what other guys do. I do have some information on that. So while preparing for this, I got to know much more on how they decide about the databases to use, what security features to put in. So it was a good chance for me to upskill myself.
fantastic. So it sounds like you got deeper into other people's roles that you might work
Oh
alongside.
yes, yeah, I would like to do that now.
That's great. So in your experience, this is a tough question,
Okay.
but how much time is needed to prepare for this certification?
Yeah, it is a tough question because it depends on person to person. You know, it depends on somebody's skill and their experience prior to this. So, for example, if someone is willing to take a associate engineer test, then we recommend that you either have 6 months of proper, experience doing something with GCP. Then it will be easy to take the test.
Okay.
On the other hand, the one which I gave, which is a professional architect, cloud architect, that test needs at least 2-3 years of on-hand experience, out of which at least 1 year of managing and designing solutions. So for me, preparation time, I will say that for me it was not that much because I do it every day. So it took me 2 weeks of dedicated training, just focused on the training. But for a person who's not doing it every single day, I would say take at least 2 or 3 months of time. That is enough for you to grasp the concepts and prepare for that.
Oh, that's very helpful. Okay, in terms of sort of a stepped environment
Yeah,
and having
yeah.
the right amount of time.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the materials that you used or how your preparation looked,
Right.
can you talk to us a little bit about what you might have done to sort of get yourself in the game for this certification?
This is the interesting part because I do this again. I do my job every day. So I thought, let me book it in next 2 weeks. I thought, 2 weeks, I'll prepare, I'll be there. And the first thing I did, which luckily for me, it worked out really well. I went to the preparation exam. There's a free exam to take in the same certification webpage.
Oh, great.
And in that exam, I thought I'll attend it and check where do I lack, which skill I lack. And after giving that exam, I totally freaked out. I did. Because, the thing is, when you work on certain things, you are expert in that. Right. But you may not be that expert in the other area. So for me, that made me identify the areas where I have to focus. So then I made my study plan. So the study plan will include the areas where I'm not really good at. So for me, like I said, application infra was okay, but data was my part where I couldn't answer most of the questions. So there is where I started, the preparation exam, practice exam they say. And then at the end of the exam, best part is it gives you a detailed list of all the answers and which one was right and why, which ones were not right and why. So there's a bit of reasoning behind every single option. So that gives you, that base of determining which product in which scenario does what. And then it also links to the actual documentation on the GCP page. So you'll never get a better teacher than that website. Wow. So it's an official website, Google maintains it. So when you go through those products in detail, that gives you a base of answering any question in that particular area. So for me, that was the main important point. I focused on the preparation exam. So anybody who is going to attend it, I would say, give that exam, freak out, that's totally normal, and then examine all the questions. Go to the product page, have a knowledge of why that answer was right and why that was not right. And I think first step was that, and then I did a Coursera course as well.
Okay.
This Coursera course is specially designed for this preparation. So it takes you through all the topics which will be covered in the exam and gives you a flavor of what kind of questions you can expect. And it also gives you a real good view of how to answer them or which link you have to go to read more about it. So that helped. And I think number 3, I would say Quick Labs. Like you have just seen how easy it is, Quick Labs. And personally, when I spawn my own instances in GCP, I might forget to shut it down. So it's charging me. That's not a good idea. So Quick Labs is easy because it just gives you a setup exactly for that one scenario and it tears it down once you are done. Oh. So, and I can't emphasize more on this. Hands-on experience never beats anything else. So when you're preparing for the cert, if you do Quick Labs, you're not just preparing for the test, you are also preparing for your career beyond the test. So the more hands-on you are, the more easy to clear the test and it's more easy to actually do the work when it comes to.
Wow.
So I would really say go for the preparation exam, go for the Coursera course and do Quick Labs. Try it out yourself.
Great. Those are some great tips for our audience. And so I think just kind of summing up, so important tips to passing the exam, how you felt on the day, any mindset approaches, anything you can give us about how you went in there.
I think for me, for everything, whichever exam it is, the confidence matters a lot. It takes you more than halfway. And you'll have that confidence when you have your concepts right. So before the exam, if you know that, I've done my bit, I know the products, it takes you more than halfway through. Even, the preparation counts, like people say. So I think go to the product pages, read about the products. That will give you that confidence to enter that hall, sit there and actually do it. Because, like I say, it's very easy to try something at your desk. In that exam zone, you have a clock ticking, you have 120 minutes, you have 50 questions. So it's a pressure zone. So you want to go there with enough confidence that you know about the things.
Right.
And with respect to the exam tips, I would say first most important thing I felt is, there are questions which will be tough. There are questions which will be made tricky, and if you see all the answers look okay. Yeah, these all are relevant, these all are good, but you have to pick one.
Right. What do you do?
So I think that's where you need to know that don't get stuck on one question.
Okay.
Because I've seen, many times people say that I was stuck and I lost my time. Don't do that. If you think something is a little more tricky, mark it for review. There is an option, you can do that on the exam. Mark it for review, go to other questions, do a first pass, come back. And then in your second pass, you'll at least know how many you are marked for review. So you know what time is left, how many questions you have to review.
Right.
So that's where personally what I do is I read the question twice, because the question will have some hints in it to guide you to the answer. And many times when you are in this exam zone, as I say, you overlook some keywords. Right. So for me, say for example, that's what I do. The tricky ones, I say, I'll read the question twice and I'll try to eliminate which options are definitely not the answer. So out of 4, I might find 2 which are, I know these 2 are not the correct answer. Among the other 2, your question will give you a hint on what clause or what requirement it maps to. And definitely every question has only one answer.
Of course.
So it's a matter of, logical reasoning and pacing it, pace your paper, don't run out of time. That I would say the first thing. Don't get stuck, and you can anytime come back and review it as many times as you want.
Great. So first pass, being able to read the questions multiple times, look for hints in the wording. That's all great advice for our group. So you've done the exam. Tell us about the process. What was rewarding about it? What was different about it? Tell us about it.
So I think in my view, it's the learning which counted a lot. So you might have heard many people say that, the destination, it doesn't matter. It's the journey which counts. So for me, those 2 hours of exam, they were definitely important because I wanted to pass.
Yes, of course.
But I think those 2 weeks of preparation, that took me a long way. That learning which I learned, which I got prepared while taking up this exam. So because if you see now, when I go to customer sites, I don't know what kind of question will be asked.
Right.
Yeah, and there will be different scenarios. And end of the day, when I talk to them, when I tell them something, I know what I'm speaking makes sense, and that is the good design. I will be able to explain to them why I think so. And tomorrow, those servers might have thousands of machines running. There might be hospitals running on it, airlines running on it. So once you know that you know your concepts, you know all the topics, it helps a lot. So as I said, it's not about just the certification. It's about the career beyond that. And for me, this certification has prepared me to design there, go out there with confidence and design the solutions. So that's more rewarding. Yeah.
Priya, thank you for sharing with us today. Priya, one of our strategic cloud engineers, sharing her experience on the exam. And I guess we're hoping we enticed a few people to take it.
Yeah, good luck for that.
Good luck.
So now that you've learned all about GCP certification, I'm excited to tell you more about the certification challenge that Anna alluded to in the introduction. In order to join the certification challenge, you need to follow the link on the bottom right of the screen. And if you sign up today, you'll get 1 month's free access to Quick Labs. You can choose from either the Associate Cloud Engineer or Professional Cloud Architect. And by completing the relevant Quick Labs quests, you can register for an exam and get promotions on Coursera, and also a discount code for the Associate Cloud Engineer. If you then go on and certify and pass within a 12-week period, you'll qualify for a $100 Google Store voucher. This promotion is available in 25 countries, as you can see on the screen here. But if your country is not listed, if you just follow the link, we will send you 1 month's free access to Quick Labs. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending today's webinar, and we have some time for some Q&A. We've got some live questions coming in. The first one being, what happens if I don't pass first time? If you don't pass your GCP certification, there is a 14-day call-off period, so you actually have to wait 2 weeks before you can resit. If you fail for a second time, it becomes 60 days, and a third time is 12 months. The next question coming in is, how much do certifications cost? So associate level certifications are $125 US, and the professional GCP certifications cost $200 US. You would actually purchase these direct from a Criterion test center. How long is certification valid is the next question that we have. All GCP certifications are valid for 2 years. And if you hold both an associate and a professional level certification, you would only need to recertify at the professional level. So that's all we've got time for. I'd like to thank everybody for participating in today's webinar, and I wish you the best of luck in continuing your GCP journey.